independent board of professionals. But the question, of course, will be, will it meet the disinvestment targets? But as an indication of government thinking, Jeetu, let me get an indication of government thinking. Actually, let me not, I'm asking each one of you to respond separately. Whoever wishes to come in on this, as an indication of intent, Hemendra, Kothari, Jeetu, how do you read this? Karuna, first let's get them on board and then I'm coming to you. Yeah. Mr. Kothari, Jeetu.
I think this is absolutely the need of the hour. We need to be doing this as of yesterday. I mean, the government is running so many businesses, the oil companies, the Concors of the world, the Air Indias of the world, and plus there are so many assets that the government owns, the highways and stuff. I think all of that has to be systematically just put on the block and sold out. There is a lot of sovereign funds who would be interested in buying operating assets like highways and ports. I think the good news is that you can put 50, 60, 70 billion of these assets to be put on the block over the next
Put it in one group,
and that would be a great sourse of funding for all the investment programs that the government
So big move towards privatization in a strategic sense. Let me get an Hemendra Kothari on this. Mr. Kothari, does this surprise you?
See, I personally feel we have been talking since 20 years. Earlier when Panjabi was there, we started talking about divestment. The question is, we have to think much earlier than rather the end of the fiscal year. It takes 6 months to 9 months to really do divestment or get out of the management of the public sector company. So let us plan it from now on. Now, if you try to just divestment, we are not getting the real value for the government companies. So it's best explained for a transaction like BPCL, it's the distribution which is very important than only refinery. If you consider railways, with their mention, the railways should be considered in parts to divest. These are the kind of privatization we should look at and try to see. Now, what is the point of keeping sooty various stocks which are still there, in fact, with them, whether it is L&T or ITC or XYZ. I think they should get out of that. What is the reason for having Hindustan Zinc 25% or X 26% we are holding there? Now, so we have to think very carefully. We have to plan. You keep investment bankers appointed very fast, and it can be done. It can be done. We have done it in past for divestment purpose. Now we should talk about strategic selling. And premium, always, Prime Minister has always been saying it. We have no business where it is on this matter.
Absolutely. But the interesting bit of news coming in. So, okay, let me get a mic. I'm going to go to a break in a minute. But before that, Karuna and Karan, initial thoughts from you and Nikhil as well. I'll come to you on the other side. Yes, please.
The budget?
Overall, overall.
Okay, so just now taking off from what was said about corporatization, I think India, we are slowly moving towards what we call as investments in soft infrastructure. Typically, all through we've been investing in hard infrastructure, but to make that work, we need to look at the governance, and governance investments in terms of soft infrastructure are happening right now. And what we hear today, the corporatization, is perhaps one of the clear indications that we are giving more and more focus there. But by and large, on the budget expectations I have, I'll give a very macro understanding of what I expect. One is this budget, we have, I don't know if you've been following like in the last few years, we have not been able to capitalize on the urbanization. For instance, right from those 1997 when we lost the East Asian miracle and India couldn't really achieve much, I think we should really get our act together and really
I'll go into details on the other side of the break. Karan.
My initial thoughts, I mean, very valid points raised by everyone, and since everyone is talking about LTCG,
that's Nirmala Sitharaman just walking into North Block this morning, early start. Yes, please, go on.
Yeah, so since everyone is talking about LTCG and dividend distribution tax, well, you know, when STT was introduced, it was said that, you know, STT is because we don't have LTCG on equity. But then what we did eventually is we introduced even LTCG. So right now we have both. So that's the kind of regulatory taxation mess that we have in terms of direct taxes.
Going to break.
So, okay. So I mean, if there's got to be any changes in taxation, I want it to come in the form of a direct, direct tax code being implemented.